Hello and welcome to Deakin's Virtual Open Day. I'm Peter, the course director of the Bachelor of Science, Master of Teaching, Secondary. And today I'm joined by Hussein, the course director of the Bachelor of Arts, Master of Teaching, Secondary.
Hello everyone.
We are thrilled to have you with us today as we explore and talk to you about our courses. We'll also be hosting a live Q&A session straight after this presentation where we can answer any questions that you have.
We would like to acknowledge country, recognizing that we all currently stand on different lands. Deakin would like to recognize the various traditional lands on which our campuses are located. We acknowledge the land, waterways, and airways of the Kulin Nation and Gundinjbara peoples. We acknowledge the elders, past, present, and emerging, of all the lands on which we work, study, and live, and we pay our respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders peoples.
So today we're going to be talking about 2 degrees, as we mentioned at the start. They are very similar in their combined degree nature. Hussein, as I said, looks after the Bachelor of Arts, Master of Teaching, and I manage the science course. But because they're so similar, often Hussein and I get to work together to be able to talk about these courses. So today we're going to talk to you about how the Master of Teaching side of things fit into this combined degree. You will be interested in finding out about your bachelor degrees as well by going to those presentations at the Virtual Open Day. So let's talk about your future of studying at Deakin, and in fact studying teaching and moving into an education degree and career. We think at Deakin we're very proud of the fact that once you finish with a Deakin degree, you have a world-class education. We think you're graduate ready so that when you walk into the classroom, you know exactly what you need to do. Through our degrees, you're going to gain hands-on practical experience through our professional experience program. And Hussein and I will share more information about that with you as we go through our program today. So, why would you study at Deakin? Why would you study education at Deakin? Well, we are actually inspiring future generations in all that we do in our education programs. Deakin is ranked amongst the top 5 universities in Australia for its education degrees. We're actually ranked within the top 30 universities in the World QS rankings. And this is the big one. We're ranked #1 for student satisfaction for 10 years running. We're very proud of our rankings and the recognition that we offer world-class innovative research, and that as you undertake your education degree at Deakin, you're learning from teachers who are at the forefront of education research. There are prerequisites for coming into our courses. So when we talk about the 2 different courses, the D303 refers to the Bachelor of Arts, Master of Teaching. The D304 refers to the Bachelor of Science, Master of Teaching. You'll see here that both courses are 4 years in duration. They're offered at the same campus, so Burwood in Melbourne, although the Bachelor of Arts, Master of Teaching is also offered in the cloud and online. And you can see that in 2019, the ATAR ranking was slightly different for each course and slightly different for each campus, be that Melbourne or the online campus. So that's some information that as a school leaver, I'm sure will be very interesting to you. As a school leaver, there are some expectations that you will have taken units 3 and 4 at a VCE level and have studied English 30. Or 25 in other than EAL, English other than EAL. There could be a VTAC application that goes with that. You will complete CASPER. We'll talk more about CASPER in a moment. And the eligible ATAR is based on 2020 early and first round VTAC offers, including relevant adjustment factors. ATAR requirements for 2021 are currently unknown. So please use past ATAR only as a guidance, and the ATAR is subject to increase or decrease. For those applicants who are previous tertiary vet life or work experience, there's a different strategy for you to apply to join the degree, and they've been listed on the screen here. Again, if you've got questions about that, please ask Hussein and I in the live Q&A. The course structure for these combined degrees is that, first of all, you will do 24 credit points in your Bachelor. In this example, it talks about Bachelor of Arts, but that could also be science. Then you'll undertake 12 credit points in your Master of Teaching. Plus, during your Master of Teaching, you will also do 60 days of supervised professional experience. And after those 36 units are completed, that's your combined degree in the bag, and you're ready for graduation. So during your Bachelor, you will undertake 4 of these subjects that are listed in front of you today. There are 6 that you could choose from. You will choose 4 of them and take these education electives while you're doing your Bachelor degree. And then you're prepared to come into the Master of Teaching. And this is how we combine the degrees, and this is how we fast track you to achieve 2 separate degrees, a Bachelor and a Master, in 4 years, which is really quite incredible. Hussein, tell us a little bit about the Bachelor of Arts.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. Yeah, if you will be a student of Bachelor of Arts, Master of Teaching secondary, you will be choosing 2 majors from the following. You can choose one of anthropology, philosophy, politics, or sociology, and one of children's literature or literary studies, or one of the languages like Arabic, Chinese, Indonesian, or Spanish, or one of visual arts or photography, or history, or dance, or drama, or media studies. For instance, you can choose anthropology as one of your majors and history as another one, or anthropology and children's literature. And this is a 4-year course track, which, as Peter mentioned, you will graduate with a master's degree. And you will also choose 2 of these curriculum studies to match up with those 2 majors that you've chosen. That means whatever you choose to be your major will determine 2 of these curriculum studies.
Thanks, Hussein. And that actually works exactly the same way for the science. So in your Bachelor of Science, you could choose a major group 1 or a major group 2 to focus for your major areas. And that relates directly to the curriculum areas that you'll graduate your Master of Teaching from. So here there's the possibility in this combined degree of graduating to be able to teach biology, chemistry, environmental science, or mathematical modelling. Now, this combined degree positions you right within the Master of Teaching, of which we have a number of other degrees at Deakin. So this gives you an overview of the other degrees that are at master's level, that are qualifications for education, and therefore will comprise of your peers as you go through these degrees. And while you're doing your Master of Teaching, remember we said you had 60 days of professional experience. Well, this is some information about it. We wanted to tell you that your professional placement starts in the very first year of your Master of Teaching. And you'll take 3 different sections of placement as you go through your Master of Teaching. Deakin has a network of more than 1,400 schools across Australia, and we work with those schools to place you in them. It's not something you have to arrange yourself. We help you. In fact, we place you in a school, and then we support you while you're in that school to be thinking carefully about what it is to be an educator. And that school setting will be really important for giving you the experience and the preparation that you need to feel ready when you graduate your Master of Teaching. So Deakin also has some great additional programs that make sure we can place the volume of students that we have to place in our schools. And so I've mentioned that we work with you, but also that Deakin is part of a Victorian state government supported teaching academics and alliance program. And that gives us great affordance at being able to place you in some really wonderful schools around Victoria. But we do work with you for you to be doing placement wherever you are located.
Let's read what Jessica has said. Jessica has graduated in Bachelor of Arts, Master of Teaching, and she has said this about her experience at Deakin. Nothing can replace hands-on experience in the field that you are studying towards becoming part of. I will always admire how Deakin endeavors to create globally conscious citizens through their approach to education.
Thanks, Hussein. I'm also going to introduce you to Tim. Tim has recently graduated from the Bachelor of Science, Master of Teaching, and he says, I was well prepared come graduation as I was given lots of opportunities to put theory into practice on placement. All of the teaching staff were great, approachable, knowledgeable, and happy to help us achieve our best. I'm really pleased to hear Tim had that to say about us because he was one of my students and I really enjoyed working with him through his degree as well.
Hi, my name's Reece Joyce. I'm currently in my 4th year at Deakin. I'm studying a combined degree of secondary teaching and a Bachelor of Arts, majoring in English literature and minoring in humanities. So Deakin always appealed to me for a number of reasons. First of all, recommendations from others. I knew other people doing teaching at Deakin, and they had always loved it and loved kind of what it stood for and what underpinned the course. But as well as that, professionally, I'd heard a lot of positives about it. I guess the main thing I get out of it is an appreciation for the disciplines that I have and that I get to teach when I do graduate my course. Literature especially, heading into it, I'd always had this underlying passion, I guess, in regards to studying a range of different texts, but actually being in this course and kind of being introduced to more of those texts, I feel like I have got a greater appreciation for a range of different, not just like the classics and everything, but a range of different varieties as well. With the humanities, I guess it's more or less the same, but perhaps a greater understanding of where I fit in the world, looking at history, sociology, and politics kind of units. They're all underpinned with this real idea of social justice. So I guess not just in modern times as well, but progressing over history. And I feel like once you are given the opportunity to look at those in such an in-depth and, I guess, expertise-based way, it's an incredible thing to learn about. So the education part that's my bread and butter, that's the good bit for me. Heading into teaching, I always had preconceived ideas of what it would entail. And it's, in some aspects it is like what I thought it would be, but others it's completely different. You're really not just a teacher, you take on so many more roles than that, and I think it's not until you get into the classroom and you do your practical aspects of placement, that's where you learn a lot about yourself, professionally and personally, I guess. And you realize that, yeah, you are more than a teacher. You can be a counselor, you can be an academic, you can be support, you can be anything that you need to be in any instance of that placement that, what your students need you for. And I think it's when you get there and you stand up in front of that class that, you recognize your passion. And there are days that may not be as good as others, but ultimately you'll know that you're there for the right reason once you get up and start doing it, because you're helping students not just learn about content or information, but learn about themselves and kind of help shape the people that they want to be ultimately. I was lucky enough in my 3rd year to be part of the Global Education Program, or the GEP, where I was given the opportunity through Deakin to teach in Kathmandu, Nepal at an all-girls secondary college. Without doubt, it is the most incredible thing I've done professionally and personally. The tools that I take away from that and can now apply to my own teaching in terms of things like EAL, single, gendered cohorts, and just any experience in general from teaching is going to be, you know, so important moving forward from there. But as well as the cultural aspect, Nepal specifically being such a highly religious country, I feel like it gave me the opportunity to encounter things that I may not always encounter on my like Australian placements. And I have other friends that did GEP, and they all agree, regardless of where they went to, it's such a significant thing to do professionally and personally as well. I feel like, for me, after this 4-year course, I am ready to teach. I feel more than confident with the way that I'm equipped to go. So hopefully, for me, it's straight into work. But heading from here, I think I've understand and learnt through Deakin that I don't need to have the answers to everything, probably. And the idea of like a lifelong learner, even though I finish my degree and I head into teaching, I know for a fact that the learning never stops, and neither does the teaching, hopefully. There are good days and there are bad days. But with that being said, it's never a reflection of you as a person. I've had lessons that I've walked into and walked out of feeling like there are things I could have done better. But it's all part of reflection in that sense, and taking feedback. And a big part of teaching, especially heading through your university course, is taking that feedback and using it. Not seeing it as solely a negative thing, but rather a way of, I guess, moulding and shaping your teaching to be a better self of, you know, a better version of yourself, perhaps. But there are going to be lessons that you love. There are going to be days that you love, and you're going to walk out feeling top of the world, and knowing that you want to do this, you know, as a profession, I guess.
So the graduate outcomes are an important thing that we like to think about for when you finish your degree. What gives you the edge with a Deakin degree is the benefits of what it means to be a Deakin graduate. So in 2018-2019, 93.8% of Deakin education graduates were employed prior to the completion of their course. That's quite incredible. That means that the majority of students had a job before they actually completed their course because they worked at Deakin. We have a very strong reputation in the field. There are lots of different places that our graduates now work across both graduates of both degrees, the combined degree with arts and teaching, as well as science. We see our graduates now as in secondary schools across Victoria, in private, independent and public sector schools. They might be teaching secondary or even tertiary, TAFE and university. Some are employed through non-government organisations or in training, government or consultancy organisations. Many have gone on to do further study. There are some PhD candidates and others who have taken up other research opportunities. Some now work in hospital schools, juvenile detention centre schools, and there are teachers, leading teachers, curriculum program leaders, leadership teams, including principals and centre directors, all of whom have graduated from these combined degrees. Now we're going to tell you a little bit about CASPER. So CASPER is a non-academic selection tool. It's an entry requirement for all of our education programs. It assesses teaching skills such as communication, teamwork, empathy, ethics, problem solving, and professionalism. And it does this in an online setting. It can be completed at home as long as you have the appropriate technology, which includes video or audio webcam. In the test, you're given 12 scenarios. There are 8 videos and 4 texts, and you're required to answer in an open-ended way 3 questions, and you have 5 minutes for each question. So it's a very self-contained experience. You do it at home where you're comfortable. You're given a scenario and then asked a question and you give a response. There are practice tests so you can feel comfortable when you're ready to take it. There's a link for the CASPER practice test there. And this test does cost. It's $80 to sit this assessment test. The results come directly to Deakin, and then depending on your results, if you've passed, then Deakin, and of course depending on your acceptance in other areas, will then make you an offer to come join us here. If you're applying to Deakin, school leavers apply through VTAC. Non-school leavers can apply directly to Deakin. these links are here for you. And again, you can ask us questions about that in the Q&A that's coming up. So thank you very much for joining us today. That's the end of our presentation. If you have any questions, you can stay on after this presentation and ask Hussein and I in the live Q&A. We are also available, as are our colleagues, in the live chat during all of the virtual open day. You could, of course, go to our website at any time and have a look at the Bachelor of Arts Master of Teaching or the Bachelor of Science Master of Teaching. And during the virtual open days, you can attend a virtual campus tour, which sounds fantastic. So Hussein, thank you very much for joining me in this presentation of our combined degrees. And I look forward to seeing you in the Q&A that follows right along.
Thank you, Peter, for your wonderful presentation. And thank you for listening.
Thank you. Bye.